Um, meow. We're here talking about Sonic the Hedgehog, and we're going straight into spoilers. So if you haven't seen Sonic, sorry this week. Too slow, kiddo. Just watch that later. But with that said, I have the first thing I want to talk about. A little bit of a controversy between a couple people that I talked to about this. So I'll throw it out now. I think the Olive Garden in this film is not product placement.
Oh,
You think what? Say that
are
one
you
more
going to
time.
expand on
So
that?
you know how they reference Olive Garden in this film. A couple people have
Quite
told
a
me
few times, yeah.
that, a couple people have told me they're like partnered with Olive Garden. I don't think that's what it is. I think it's just everybody knows the Olive Garden is like the play. I don't know, like a funny thing. It's in the zeitgeist a little bit, if that makes sense. Like
I don't know. I think I would agree with you if they didn't also like very clearly sponsor
Zillow.
and Toyota.
When did they do Zillow?
She like turned her computer on. She's like, "I've been looking for cheap apartments on Zillow," and I'm just like, like zooms in on the logo.
On Zillow.
Yes.
And it's just like, all right.
Uh-huh.
Did you
Okay.
not?
Well,
Listen, Ford v Ferrari was way subtler than this.
Yeah, no, this was very much sponsored. There was an Olive Garden commercial in the middle of this movie.
Oh, there was. It's not an Olive Garden commercial.
Hey, did you hear about their never-ending pasta bowls?
But everybody knows about their never-ending pasta bowls.
Hey, I'm sorry, but you could not be more
They
wrong.
literally said, "When you're here, you're family."
I was going to say, I think y'all are missing the point, which is that when you're there, you are family. And
I'm sorry.
that's not product
I
placement.
have to disagree with you hard. It was so blatant.
Yeah, it was very much blatant.
I have to
keep going, Todd,
say though, the product placement at the very end when he pulls out the Olive
What?
Garden
Oh
card.
no, it was very much product placement, and they had a few products that were being advertised to me.
Well, what I was going to say is it actually made me laugh.
was.
It was the first product placement that made me laugh in a while. I just laughed out loud.
They had to earn back the money that they lost reanimating Sonic.
Yep.
I would love if that all got added in because they had to reanimate Sonic. I hope that's true.
I will say the cars specifically in this movie sort of noticed, and it felt weird, especially because this is a kids movie, and they're like, "Oh yeah, time to sell new cars to kids."
Yep.
And I was like, "What 10-year-old is like, yeah, Sonic? Oh wait, I need to buy a new Hyundai Accord or what? I don't know cars, but I don't know."
Well, that's for the parents. That was for
yeah. Todd, are you now buying a new car?
Yep, I looked into it. Yep, right after.
Oh, Todd.
Buying a new house, buying a new car.
Can you hear Todd?
Yeah.
No, I can't.
Todd.
Oh, you can't hear me?
Wait, I can't.
Well, I can hear Todd.
Hello?
No
Wait, I can't.
way. We can't.
Maybe try turning up, Todd?
Todd?
Mm-hmm. Hello?
Oh.
Hello?
Oh, hello?
Hello?
Working now?
Oh, I can hear Todd now.
Maybe it's because you invited us with the invite link, and Todd entered in naturally.
Maybe. Yeah.
Can you
Well,
hear
I
me
can
now?
hear now.
Yes,
Yeah.
I can hear Todd now. Oh, oops, I couldn't be hearing Todd before. Anyways, cool.
I was wondering because there was a point where Todd was talking and Lindsay was just talking over Todd.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay.
I didn't hear you.
I was like, man, Lindsay really wants to get a point across that she thought this was blatant product placement.
Oh my god.
No,
what do you think, Todd?
I think.
Well, I said it was product placement, but it's the only product placement that's made me laugh in a while. Because when the when the Olive Garden card came out at the end of the movie, I laughed out loud in the theater.
Yes.
It was ridiculous.
It was so stupid.
So yeah, it's got that going for it at least. So
yeah. I think also the movie was like a slight ad for drones, if anything.
There was a lot of drones.
A lot of drones in the movie. A lot of drones, which is an interesting.
Look what came out of my egg sack.
Yeah,
that wasn't a good line.
That was a bad line.
It was a creepy line for sure.
Yeah. How did y'all feel about Jim Carrey?
He creeped me out the whole time.
Oh, man.
I actually thought it was like, I was trying to picture what I would feel like at 10, and I would feel like he was a creep at 10.
Yeah.
So I guess successful in that respect, but I don't think I don't know if he was great in it. It seemed like he phoned it in a little bit to me.
Oh, really? Okay.
That's what I sort of said too. And I don't think it's his fault. I think it's more like, y'all are redoing the animation for Sonic, and they reshoot his scenes. Is what I was kind of wondering a little bit, because I think they did change. I think he was going to be a little bit more like eccentric. Like, okay, Jim Carrey is always going to be like a little bit crazy in movies. Like that's what he thrives in. Look at like Ace Ventura. But like I felt like they had it at, like you were saying, they had it at a 10 creep and not like a 10 weird, like funny weird. Mm-hmm. And they made like a big mistake because it's like, wait, this at the end of the day, like you are still trying to make this a movie for kids, right? Yeah. Right. So
yes,
I don't know.
I do think he was the only interesting performance, whether it was good or not. But everyone else was so boring that I
disagree. Just
James
Marsden.
Not exciting. Not an exciting man. I have to say.
So bland.
How dare you try to take away from Donut Lord and Pretzel Lady? I thought Tika Sumpter was fine. I get what you're saying. Like no one's really given that much. I think her aunt is okay. Like she's given the funny role, and the two of them probably should have.
Yeah, they were basically like, oh, let's put like a Madonna character in here. He. And she was like, oh. So what am I gonna do? Oh, just be a sassy black woman.
Yeah, like, that's exactly what it was.
Okay, like,
do I have any other character traits?
And it's like, okay, like this is clearly a joke intended for the like parents. This is like it's just very odd dissonance with some of the jokes, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, do I have any other character traits? No, just keep being sassy.
Yeah. And she likes Montana too. Apparently, she likes being the only black woman in the city.
Yep.
I thought that was funny personally. I was like, there's no way that she would feel super comfortable in this tiny town. And she's the one who wants to stay there when and he wants to move to the big city. But that was just another.
Oh yeah. And she was happy to move to San Francisco if that's what he wants, but she was also happy to stay here if that's what he wants. And I was like, do you have a personality or like interest?
She wanted to support him.
Uh-huh. Does she have a life? Because she also seemed like she had a job, but like, doesn't she care where they live? I don't know.
Oh, she can find a new job. What do you mean?
Oh, sure. Okay.
She's a powerful veterinarian. They can find
veterinarians can find jobs anywhere.
Anywhere. It's easy.
I will not take the Sonic slander. But I guess I'll mention like some spoilery things. Tails is in the movie.
For like
the very end,
the tail end of it. But
wait, when was Tails in the movie?
You didn't stick around for the post credits, Lindsay?
We didn't stay for the credits.
Did you just get up and leave as soon as the movie finished?
Yes, we did. The Sonic rap started, and we were like, "Let's go.
We're done."
Wait. When did this? Wait.
The credit song was
I
a
actually
Sonic
don't
rap.
remember the Sonic rap.
Oh, how could you forget?
Wait.
Because I
The
like the
credits were
pretty colors they were showing.
interesting.
It was not good.
Yeah.
Did y'all
man.
like Baby Sonic?
Oh my goodness, Baby
Sonic
Sonic.
is a little bastard.
Oh my
Baby-
gosh.
Baby Sonic was like someone I couldn't trust. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, what are you
I
talking
know.
about?
Yo, he's
Like-
so cursed.
You look at Baby Sonic and you're like, alright, listen here, you little shit.
Yes, exactly. He's a little bastard.
I have to say Sonic kind of annoyed me at every age. So I had trouble with
Yes.
him at every particular.
Agreed.
At the beginning, I felt a little sorrow for him, but I think one of the biggest problems for me was that like I kind of wanted him to get captured by the end.
What? How dare y'all? Look at you, little Sonic.
I'm heartless, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, me too.
Yes. I thought it was weird this might be like a thing in one of the new games where Sonic becomes a werewolf and a knight of the round table and all that stuff. But there was a weird owl apprentice that he had.
Yeah.
And the only thing that's confusing about that is it doesn't really introduce Tails and Knuckles at the start. So then when Tails shows up in the post credits, it's like, wait, did this thing, like, did he come here just because he knew Baby Sonic and it's been like several years? I don't know. Doesn't
They'll
really
explain
matter.
that in the next movie.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Or they just won't.
It's gonna make
They'll just be like that in Olive Garden.
Yeah. It's not product placement. The other one that I was going to throw out, this is why I hate trailers so much. The line that, and I knew he was going to say it too, because I've heard it in several trailers, because this has been doing a trailer since like, I think like October, or no, even before October, like September. But the line where he's like, "This is my power, and I'm unrunning," or whatever. Like, I don't know. That was just so cheeseball. There were a couple lines like that where they were sort of cheeseball. But the thing I was going to mention why I like Marsden, I think is because the heart sort of works for me, because I'm a sucker for that stuff, I guess. Because it's like a road trip movie. And I don't know, B, like, it's just too, like, it's a buddy movie, and like, I don't know, I'm cool with that, like a fish out of water character, but they do a really weird job of like establishing like what Sonic knows and what Sonic doesn't know. So for instance, like, I'm trying to remember, there's something he sees and like he gets it to explain it to him. But also, Sonic knows the Fortnite dance, which is not good at all.
Nope, he flossed twice.
He did. He did
floss
times. 2 times too many, some would say. But I like the whole like Donut Lord jokes. I thought, I don't know, for whatever reason, those worked for me. Trying to think of other jokes that landed.
I only laughed once.
You're heartless.
I'm sorry. During the random dance number, when Jim Carrey just like started dancing.
Oh my god!
With the red lighting, and then his like assistant guy shows up and he's just like dancing too and holding coffee. I don't know why, but I laughed really hard at that part.
I was going to mention, just because this is so close to Birds of Prey, it has like a similar structure, unfortunately, and like a couple of people told me like the structure didn't really work for Birds of, like, they thought it was kind of generic. I don't know what they're gonna think of Sonic the Hedgehog, because it's way, like, Birds of Prey is tons of fun. I think it balances like the narrative structure really well, and Sonic's very much by the books in that regard, because they do the whole thing at the beginning where they're like, Look, here's me, Sonic. You're probably wondering how I got in this crazy situation.
Right.
I'm like, oh, well, I don't know. I feel like Sonic is not the movie where you start with that. You can just do Baby Sonic. Odd choice. What? I'm trying to. There was one. Oh, I also thought it was a little weird, even though I like the set piece. It's just a little annoying because we've had Silver Perfection, Super Speed running. And the only thing I guess I'd throw out is, while that is good, the setup for it at Sonic's in like almost like a Hugh Hefner costume, and like just wearing a cowboy hat. And keep in mind, this guy's like 2 feet tall, and they're just like, he's got a defect, so he has blue fur and is 2 feet tall. Rednecks aren't the smartest, but maybe
that was one of the few. That was one of the 2 times I laughed out loud, actually. It was when they came up with the excuse for why he looked like that. And I was like, is that all they're going to say? And then I did laugh really hard at the Olive Garden gift card. So those were the 2 times that I laughed really hard. But I thought James Marsden did a fine enough job. I just don't think there's a lot for him to do in there. I think that's my...
I agree with that. That's what I mean. Like, I walk away liking it because, like, it seems so fair, like sort of meh. I like it as a script, and like I feel like Jim Carrey's like a high enough caliber actor in this role to sort of do what he wants. Whereas, like, I don't know, if James Marsden was like, "Hey, I want to do a British accent," they'd be like, "James, let's be real here. You haven't been in a starring role since X-Men, so
sure,
British accent." So I don't know if he was allowed to drive.
That's fair.
I actually laughed at the military scene that they had, like the Eggman in the military scene where he's like, bop, 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 like he keeps interrupting him. I get it's a dumb joke. I don't know about you guys. I was in an audience of a lot of kids, and that really like enhances a kid's movie when like they're laughing at jokes.
Oh, did you have a lot of kids laughing at yours? Mine was adults laughing, which and like the kids weren't as much, which was kind of weird. But there was a lot of laughter. People did like this movie at my theater. So yeah, I think there's a decent number of people who enjoyed it.
My audience was weird. It was like a mix of half children and half like very intoxicated adults.
Sounds about right.
So like there was 10 minutes left of the movie, and these guys next to me, they just stood up and they just watched the last 10 minutes just standing, and they were like swaying. They had no idea where they were. Like at one point, a cow moves in the movie, and they just like mooed back like on instinct. Like I wasn't even annoyed. I was just like, "Are you guys good? Like, do you need help?" It was so weird.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
No.
You should have been more concerned about that.
Hey, now I understand why Lindsay wasn't too fond of this. No, but I was gonna ask how did y'all feel about I guess the only other spoiler thing. How did y'all feel about the action as a whole? Because I thought the last set piece where they were sort of running through different areas, I thought that was kind of lame. But I kind of like the one there where they're both in the car and they're taking down the different forms of drones. I thought that was well thought out. The only thing that like sort of bothered me is like you have a super powered fast hedgehog that can basically do anything. At this point is what you would think. And James Marsden or Donut Lord is like, all right, it's my turn. And I'm like, wait, hold up. No, you're not. You're just a guy.
Yeah,
like,
I know. I was like, why did you let Sonic drive? I'm so confused why this is happening.
Sonic's like, he's like, have you ever driven Sonic? And he's like, no. And he's like, sounds good to me. I was like, okay.
Sonic getting to drive was a major problem for me. Yeah. It actually did sidetrack me a little bit. It was a random detail I got caught up in where I was like, that makes no sense at all. They shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
But
it's just odd because Sonic said, go as fast as you can, Sonic. And they're like, drive the car that's going 50.
Yeah. I did like the smaller and smaller drones, though. I thought that was funny.
Yep.
Yeah, that was inventive.
But most of the other action scenes, I was like, I've seen this in X-Men, and it's been done.
Oh, well, yeah.
That's the difficulty.
That was a real problem, was everything it was so similar to the Quicksilver scenes that it just made you think about how the Quicksilver scenes were better. And that, if it had come out before those movies, or if those movies hadn't existed, I think that would have been a much more fun, you know what I mean, like, look.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, for sure.
It was very difficult to separate it from those films, for sure. I agree.
I think if they chose to go with like a different approach for like how that action looked visually, then it wouldn't be as comparable. Because like, for instance, I mean, they were making it probably at the same time, so they probably didn't have like it is probably actually wasn't a problem. But like Marvel's Quicksilver in comparison, like they never do a slow-mo scene, and they sort of know, they're like, oh well, that's the best part of Days of Future Past, and people are talking about that over and over. So we're not going to even attempt to do something like that. I also thought it was weird because, okay, another thing. Oh, this is the part that I thought was weird, where he's like, "Yep, just run west and you'll find San Francisco," and he runs into the ocean, but he knows like what the Pacific Ocean is.
Yeah.
And then also, like, I don't know, why wouldn't you give Sonic a map or something? Like, I don't know. So the Sonic driving didn't necessarily take me out of it, but that is like the instigating action seemed odd, I guess. But yeah, that's I don't know if we have other Sonic thoughts, because I have the second part.